Anyway, hi everybody. Thank you for being here. I always tell people, and I don't know, Brian and I haven't done. I guess we did one at the last show, but I always appreciate when people come and sit and listen to me or us chat, because I know there's lots of fun things to do on the floor, like watch robots fight, or UFC fighting, wrestling, and all sorts of other good stuff. So I appreciate when people come here and go, hey, let's go sit and listen to these two knuckleheads talk. So thank you, first and foremost, and...
Thank you for coming out. Everybody having fun here? Right on, right on, right on. Did y'all catch the burlesque show at all last night? Yeah, you're just as tired as I am then. Fucking 2 a.m. Crazy. Hey, little
warning. Did you get home at 2? Sorry, I'm going to ask you that real quick. I missed it. You didn't get home till 2 a.m.?
The show didn't end till 2 a.m. I didn't get in my room till 2:30.
Oh, my goodness.
And here I am.
Did you get an erection?
No, but it changed my point of view of a lot of the Disney cartoons now. Like, I can never hear the song Under the Sea the same ever again.
Fair enough, fair enough.
It's more like Under the Me kind of thing.
Oh, get under me.
Yeah, quick warning, just so you know, this is like adult material we talk about. So if you're offended by adult language or adult topics, you should have fucking realized this. So.
Yeah, I felt bad yesterday on my solo Q&A the day before. I started talking about one of the movies, Zack and Miri, and about how I had to do the scene where I was naked and my balls were out, my penis, and I see like this father and son walk out, and I was like, sorry.
A lot of questions on that car ride home. Daddy, what is he talking about? Never mind, just keep going.
What's a cocksock?
Look, Deadpool.
So yeah, I don't usually make those announcements, but I'm glad.
Did anybody see the shooting Clerks screening last night at all? What'd you think of the guy, Christopher Bain, who plays Jay in that, huh? Is that spot on? Really great job. Thank you guys for coming out. Apparently, I'm hearing we're nominated for Best Film at the festival here, so yeah. So that'll be coming out soon, and it'll be a lot of fun. Do we have any questions? You want to go to questions?
Yeah, sorry, I usually just open it up.
So we have a microphone up here, guys. We'll open up to questions. If you want to come on up and...
Start punching her away. Hey, Joe or Jay West, are you back there? Can you bring me that Red Bull? Sorry. There's someone behind the hidden curtain. All right, but you could start. You could start. You don't have to wait on me. Sorry.
Hey, guys.
Hey, what's your name?
My name's Ahab.
Hey, Ahab. What's going on?
Nothing. Other than this, obviously.
You're supposed to like, I'm having the best time ever. Thank you so much for allowing me to ask you a question.
Yes. Obviously.
Fucking A, man.
Get on with it. You're making me nervous.
Hey, Jay, can you have a sip of your Red Bull?
So, question. I know, Jay, I'm so sorry for making you. I know. Question about the Clerks poster, because I heard this come up but never really heard an answer. Why isn't Jay on the Clerks poster for the movie?
So, to what I understand, if you notice, Silent Bob is not on the poster either. That's Kevin on the poster, and it's Kevin as Kevin Smith, the director of Clerks. And as far as I know, Miramax didn't feel that Jay and Silent Bob were a big deal, really. Like, the movie was called Clerks. And so the Clerks were on the poster, and the ladies, the girlfriends, and then the director. So that's what I was told, as far as I understand. And it didn't matter, because I feel like I wasn't really around at that point. But I think I was. I don't think I was knee-deep into the business yet.
No, you weren't anywhere near.
I wasn't, huh?
Yeah, I feel that the promotions people of Miramax, they were just there to go take pretty pictures and stuff, and they just saw that mostly the Clerks and the girlfriends as the film. And then, yes, the director. If you notice, he's not Silent Bob because he doesn't have his hat. There you go, right. It's like a Jedi without his lightsaber. It's just a dude walking around in robes. Just a monk.
Cool.
So yeah, so I think that's what it was. And we would have loved to have had him because it would have made it a much more fun photo shoot. It was really weird. We were young. We didn't know what to do. We just listened to what everybody said. Stand here, shoot that, wear this. Hey, you chick, put a beret on. We were like, what the fuck's she wearing a beret for? So, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ahab.
Thank you, sir.
Whoa, oh, this mic is big. Hey guys.
What's up?
First off, I want to say I freaking loved shooting Clerks. That was amazing and really heartfelt.
Thank you for coming out for that, my
It
friend.
really inspired me creatively too, just seeing Kevin feeling so, determined there. Because
Right
I've
on.
heard of it, but now to see it, it's good. I just wanted to say, you go to conventions or meetings or San Diego Comic-Con, you meet like celebrities and not to give celebrities a bad name, they're awesome, but sometimes you'll meet people who don't really want to, talk to fans or whatever. But then when you guys come along, you're like so friendly and so amazing and just funny, and you're very open to everyone. I was wondering, I'm sorry if you get this question a lot, but what was the funniest or most memorable fan encounter you've had at conventions?
At conventions?
Yeah.
What's your funniest or weirdest thing you've had
I
at?
feel like my weirdest one was right in the beginning. So again, with the Clerks and how we're not on the poster, after Clerks came out and stuff, people really didn't say much about Jay and Bob. It wasn't until Mallrats was out for a little bit that people started really pointing out, like, hey, you're that guy, and we like Jay and Bob. And so we went to San Diego Comic-Con probably in like 97, I think, or 8 or something, was my first big comic book convention. It was San Diego Comic-Con, and it was Kevin and I got to go there the first time for, like, hey, Jay and Bob from Mallrats. And so that was the first time I really started having people come up and be like, hey, can I get a picture, and all that stuff. So it was all new to me, which it was really surreal, and I was like, I can't believe this is awesome. It still is awesome. But again, my point is it was new, so just people coming up and wanting to take a picture of me was new. And I was like, this is sweet. But what was weird, the weirdest thing is right around that time.
Police, what, with numbers in front of you? Normally you would take a photo of you?
What? Oh, yeah, that had happened later.
Turn left, please. Yeah.
My point in saying all that is trying to explain how like it knew it was for me and surreal. And I was in the bathroom, and I remember sitting there with my dick in my hand, and all of a sudden some dude's like, and I'm looking at my peripheral, and I'm like, I could see him like this, and I'm thinking he's looking at my dick, and I'm like, this is weird. But then all of a sudden he's like, you're that guy, bro. He's like, what's up, dude? Nice to meet you. And I'm just like, my dick's in my hand, but okay, here. So again, it was really, that to me will always stand out, because it just was odd for someone to talk to you, let alone want to shake your hand at a urinal. Especially because I'm real messy and I piss all over my hands all the time. I can't help it. So what? No, I'm just kidding. That ain't true.
Mine wasn't necessary. Mine is very similar to his, but in a weird way. Not at a convention, but Kevin used to hold a thing called Vulgarthon, which was his own little film festival, where Kevin would show his films in Red Bank right down the road from the stash, and we would then sign for people, anything, and Brian Johnson's Vulgar and A Better Place, and all these other films got to screen. And so this one guy came up, he's like, hey man, I want something to sign. And I'm thinking, a hat or a VHS tape at the time or something like that. And out of this bag comes this big 2-foot black dildo. And I'm just like, what? He's like, could you sign it? And with the Sharpie, so I'm like, well, you hold it, it's cool. So with the Sharpie, I'm literally like this. I'm like, so he's like, can we take a picture with it? I'm like, motherfucker, all right. So then I'm like, he's holding it. Flash forward years later, I'm working on this film called Miss December. I'm sitting on a chair with, waiting for a setup, and this guy comes, one of the producers comes over, like Tommy, and like, hey man, what's going on? He's like, hey, and how's things going? Blah blah blah. He goes, do you remember me? We met years ago. I'm like, oh really? Yeah. What's up? He's like, at Vulgarthon. I'm like, oh, did you see some of the screens? He goes, yeah. I had you sign something for me. Like, oh, cool, like a hat or something. Like, no, do you remember the guy who gave you the 2-foot black dildo? I was like, that's you? He goes, yeah. I said, wow, now you're a producer of a film. This is weird. And so whatever happened to that black dildo? He goes, I don't know. I lost it. So then I said, in who did you lose a 2-foot black dildo? So somewhere out there's a 2-foot black dildo with my name on it.
Yeah.
Hashtag 2-foot black dildo.
Hashtag
2-foot black.
surprise! It's been in my ass for years, Brian. I loved Vulgarthon, dude, because it was way before the worldwide interwebs.
Yep.
And it was really sweet because there was the message board, and there was all these people who would communicate from Florida to Boston to LA and stuff.
And you
it was-
only knew them by their call sign name, like
Exactly.
Dick or whoever it was.
But what was really awesome is because then Kevin would hold the Vulgarthon, and all these people would come spend like 4 days, and they'd meet. They'd be like, I've been talking to you for years. I'm from Boston, you're from Florida, and they finally get to meet. So I don't know, there was more to it than just like...
We should totally get them
It
to
was
do
really
again.
sweet. I would love to do that.
I would love to do it
I
again.
used to love it because you'd see people meeting, and they're like, we're getting married, we're engaged, and we've never met in person, but we've been talking on the message board for 5 years, and thanks to Vulgarthon, we're finally meeting. It was
Now
really
they have
cool.
Tinder.
Now there's Facebook. I mean, there's FaceTime where you can just be like, hello. Oh, my goodness, I can't believe I'm talking to you. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks for the question.
Thank-
Next question.
Best answer ever.
You're welcome.
Mine kind of piggybacks on that. I don't know if it'll get the same response,
You
but
piggybacking motherfucker.
all day. The thing I have is the one thing that the Smodcast and y'all's just willingness to appear on folks like the Nerdist and different panels like this is really inspired kind of the generation of make your own thing. And technology has come up and caught up while, you know, back when you guys were shooting a film, you had to go actually find a camera and a film and a crew and put them together and then hope to put it in the channel. And now
Now you have a
got-
studio right in your hand.
Exactly. You can make your thing now. There's no real excuse. Do you guys feel that you've been core to that, or do you just feel like you've kind of watched that come along? And if so, or if not, what do you think the most influential part of that on just the entertainment experience as a whole has been?
Well, you know, Kevin was inspired obviously by Jaws and by Rodriguez and Jeremy Ushwood Slacker. Everybody, it's all derivative. Everybody continues to inspire more and more people. And the same thing, just because now the technology is more accessible for you to make your own films, films are made and they're done and it's awesome. The problem now is so much content is being made and getting outlets to see it. I always talk about the day after Thanksgiving, after you've had a big meal, you finally take that shit and you see those nuggets of corn in the toilet with your shit.
Yeah.
You got to watch a lot of bullshit shit before those little corns of nugget that are worthwhile watching. Like when people say, hey, have you caught up on the latest season of such and such? I'm like, man, there's so much out there I have not. I'm like so far behind, like Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, all that. I have not caught up on it. Never mind anime and Rick and Morty, stuff like that. That's, you know, every day there's something else. Like, you got to get on this. So it's great that that outlet is out there. And if you want to make your own shit, Kevin says this all the time, don't listen to the no's, listen to the yeses in your head. Jay?
Yeah, you said it all, bro. You said it.
Good deal. Okay.
I agree with it. Again, I do. I just agree. It's besides, I don't agree with the shit in the corn, but I do feel like it's such a different, like I talk about all the time when Kevin asked me to do Clerks. Like I really thought, Kevin and I were friends, we went to high school together. I didn't really hang out with him then, but after he graduated, he worked at a community center in our town. And that's where I got into, if you guys watch Comic Book Men, Brian Johnson with the beard and Walt Flanagan, like those three hung out at the community center. They worked at the community center. And I was like the, 14-year-old used to come to the community center, play pool and foosball, and they used to read comics in the corner. And I used to harass them and stuff, and they got me into comic books. But when I started hanging out with Kevin a little more, I used to help him at the store put the paper together. He's like, I wrote a movie and I think you're funny. And I wonder if anyone else finds your weird sense of humor funny. You pulling your balls out and yelling things and saying snooch to the dooch and stuff. So he's like, I wrote a part for you. And I was saying the difference, I feel like then is I really thought like, it wasn't like when someone said you were making a movie, you were just like, yeah, I was like, even though I knew him, I was like, whatever, sure, you're making a movie. And I thought he was going to, like, bless you, borrow his, like, grandma's or aunt's, like, VHS fucking shoulder camera, because that's all they had then. There was no GoPros and cell phones and stuff. So I was just like, all right, cool, you're going to make a movie, a couple of us with a VHS camera and stuff. But now I feel like when people say they're going to make a movie, like people will come up and they're like, hey, I wrote this movie and we're going to make it and we're going to do it next month and shit. I'm like, really? That's awesome. Like, I know they're actually going to make a movie either where they're 7D or GoPro and stuff. So again, I'm just saying it is such a different world, and it makes me want, especially the YouTubers and stuff. My buddy lives in a building where I pull up and to pick him up, and there's like 7, 8 girls outside. And the first couple times I noticed, I'm like, dude, what are they all doing here? Like, does Will Smith live here or something? And he's like, no, there's YouTubers. There's a lot of YouTubers and Viners, which Vine doesn't exist anymore. And I watched it, and I finally, like the second, third time I went to pick him up, I actually saw the kid come down, and he's like, there's one of the YouTubers. And I sort of recognize him. He does his skits on there, whatever. But these girls are like, 8 to 14. They're like, ah! And it's just, I'm like, oh my goodness, like a dude just puts little videos up on his phone, and he's famous. He's got groupies. Like, it's crazy. So it's just a different world. And yeah, but do I feel like Kevin? I mean, I feel like that, like with comic books and cons and stuff, I do feel like it's cool because I feel like I was there before comics were huge, and pop culture and stuff wasn't as big. I used to go to these cons. We'd travel all over, go to these cons, but they were so small. Like in New York and stuff, they were in churches, basements in churches and stuff. So I feel like we were sort of around for that, and it feels nice to see that everyone, like back in the day, you were like, oh man, I love Cyclops from the X-Men. They'd be like, what? You know what I mean? But now everyone, like most people know who the Avengers are and comic books. And I don't know, it's pretty awesome. I don't know if that's your exact question and if I just babbled on for
It's
that.
Babylon.
But
Great.
sort of-
Quick question though, sidebar.
12 inches.
What kind of dog,
No.
only on a good day. What kind of dog was Walt Flanagan's dog?
Wait, sorry,
I
what?
think it was a rat terrier.
Rat terrier,
Walt
okay.
Flanagan's dog.
Oh,
Walt
yeah,
Flanagan
yeah.
was a rat terrier, yeah.
It was Walt Flanagan's dog. I remember him getting that, man, when we were on the set and stuff. He went to a pet store and got that dog. And but yeah, it's awesome. Man. Kevin writes all this stuff in there. Like he writes, Clerks 2 when I'm talking about, like, where the dude comes up, he's like, hey, man, can I get a nickel bag and $15, little man? Put that shit
right
in my hand. If that, no. But, but, when he's like, hey, man, where you been? I've been like, yo, man, I did 6 months in rehab for deployed airbag. Like, that really happened in Kingsburg, where me and my girlfriend were going up to Newark, New Jersey to cop drugs. And we got into an accident, and the bag deployed. It wasn't like blown up and stuck, but we pushed it in. It was like hanging out. The front end was like barely drivable, but it was drivable enough to drive back home. So we started driving. We got pulled over. They found drugs on me, and I got 6 months in rehab.
Son, why are you driving a car with a deployed airbag?
Yeah, I'm like, and then the fool I am, I had drugs on me, and it was a little bit enough that I could have got rid of, like swallowed it, and I was like, they're not going to search us. They searched us, and I got it. So I did. They were like, it's either like you go to rehab for 6 months or you go to jail for 4 years. I was like, I'll take the rehab. So anyway, it's just cool because Kevin does like write these things, and like as years go on and like, things happen.
Dum-dum.
Yeah, like personalities and the different things I've said and done, Kevin writes them in each of the movies. So that's been awesome and fun. And so we'll see the next one. Wait till the next one. He's wrote a bunch of stuff.
Kevin bought him a police body cam to just put it on him, and then he just takes it home every time. Like, all right, let me download the latest adventures of Jay, and I'll write that in. Thanks for the question.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
What's up, Mewes? This question's for Mewes. I know you recently directed a movie. What is it, and when can we see it?
Oh, yes. Thank you. It's called Madness in the Method. Brian's in it, and he's awesome. And I'm hoping, I don't know what we're going to do with it yet. Again, I don't know enough about what we should do with the process. One of the things I would like to do is I want to see, my wife's a lot smarter and better at this, but I'm trying to reach out and see. I'd love to show it at New York Comic Con. Like, I would have loved to show it at San Diego, but I just think San Diego's so big, and you can watch an episode of Defenders for Netflix and see the cast of Justice League. So it's a pretty big show, and I feel like our film, even if we could have shown it there, would have sort of maybe got lost in the shuffle. But I feel like New York is big, but not too big. So I don't know. That's one of my ideas. I don't know if it's the smartest play, but I don't know if we're going to try to show it there maybe, and then get the word out, and then see if we can get it in a film festival, or do we just try to sell it without getting it in film festivals? I don't know that process well enough. I don't know what's the smartest plan, so I need to get some advice and talk to some people.
What would you say the elevator pitch, the 2-minute elevator pitch of what your movie is about? What would that
I'm not good at explaining I like elevator pitch, but I'm always horrible when people ask it. I'm really not good at explaining my movie. Kevin's, like, if someone's like, hey, what's Jay and Bob about? I honestly couldn't say. I'm just not good at it. I'd be like, well, two guys are trying to get the monkey and things happen. I'm not good at it.
Which is pretty much what his movies. No. I'll give it to you real quick. It's a great adventure that Jay is the lead in. He's trying to get a part in this big, huge, major Hollywood movie. This is Jay Mewes, and Kevin's like, you need to learn how to act more, man. You can't be just pigeonholed as this. So he gives him this book on the acting method called The Method of Acting, and Jay takes it and absorbs it in, and he goes through a whole adventure. There's cameos out the ass in this movie that you're going to enjoy. He shot 2 to 3 weeks in England and then 2 to 3 weeks in California. You guys are going to love it. You're going to see me in a whole different light. You're going to see a lot of people in a whole different light. So look forward to it. Maybe, hopefully, by the fall it'll be out. We'll see. And like you said, his producers and him are working out the strategy of how they want to do it.
Because it's sort of based on real life. But I've been explaining one thing is I've been saying it's sort of like an Earth 16 Jason Mewes and Brian O'Halloran. Because Brian's in it as Brian O'Halloran, but not Brian O'Halloran from this Earth, from Earth 16.
Right.
Same with Kevin Smith and Stan Lee's in it. And we got Vinny Jones. Vinny Jones. He was Juggernaut. Danny Trejo.
Gina Carano.
Terry Hatcher, Dean Cain. Casper Van Dien, a lot of cool peeps were part of it, and I'm really excited that a lot of the people I reached out to, I'm like, they're not going to do it, and they were like, yes, and I was very excited about that, because they were like, oh, Mewes' first thing, he's directing, so it was really cool that a lot of people said yes and jumped on board, because there wasn't a lot of money to give out and stuff. So he explained it well, but again, just me adding that part that it is like an Earth 16, I like to say, because it is Jason Mewes, but it's not exactly me and exactly Brian
Jason
and
Mewes.
stuff. Yeah, so
Meta-human.
But yeah, so there you go. But hopefully it'll be out. I'll definitely be, of course, Brian will, I will, Kevin will post about where it will be and when it'll come out and what's happening and stuff. So
Yeah, can't wait to see it. One more thing real quick. Are any of you guys going to be in Kilroy Was Here?
being what?
Kilroy Was Here, the new Kevin Smith movie.
Oh, Moose Jaws?
No, he's making another one, which is supposed to be
This just in.
anthology film.
Just so you know, 80% of the time when we find out what's Kevin doing is through fucking other people posting it. Swear to God. There's a lot of times people come to that table, Kevin just did such and such. I'm like, really? Like, are you going to be in it? I'm just hearing about this.
No, the next movie that is supposed to be out that we're supposed to start shooting, hopefully, is Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Right.
Which will be, which again is it's a reboot, and it's funny because I told someone that and they're like, I hate reboots, and I'm like, no, but it's Kevin making fun of reboots, and it's really clever and funny. The script's amazing, but hopefully we start shooting that in November. But yeah, his last movie was Yoga Hosers. That he directed and wrote, and this is the next one. There's no other one that I know of. But yes, Moose Jaws is supposed to be somewhere in that. He wanted to do that next to finish off the Canadian trilogy, Tusk, Yoga Hosers, Moose Jaws. But now he wants to jump over. He's like, no, I want to do it Jay and Bob, because again, we all got psyched because we were supposed to do Clerks 3, and then that got shut down, and we were going to do Mallrats, and then Universal shut that down. So now Kevin's like, screw it, I really want to do a Jay and Bob, especially before we get too old. I don't want to be like Jay and Bob chasing the Suzanne and the ape around, and I'm like 60 and shit, and I'm like, Stoots to the dude. You know what I mean? I'm already getting there. I woke up this morning and shit, I was like, oh, wow. And Brian had to come over and rub me down and shit. But
they'll be like, do you have insulin? Yeah, I got the insulin, what you need. Thanks for your question, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Yeah, what's up? Another question for Jay. How did you get involved with Todd in the Book of Pure Evil? And what was the best part of filming that?
Todd in the Book of, if people haven't seen it, I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore, but it's really
not
awesome.
anymore.
There's 2 seasons. It was a Canadian TV show. It was really fun, really funny. So the guy, when I went and Kevin and I did Degrassi, The Next Generation, the producer on that, the associate producer for whatever he was on that, his name's Jim, really good dude. We just clicked with him, really good. So while we were up there shooting, we became friends with him. He came out and shot Zack and Miri. He like shadowed Kevin when we did Zack and Miri Make a Porno. He wound up marrying Katie Morgan. But anyway, really good dude. But he was friends with and worked with these two guys that produced Todd. Called Aircraft Pictures, I think it's their company or whatever. But they were in the midst of doing Todd and writing it and talking about it. And because I was friends with Jim and he was friends and worked with them, they were like, dude, we'd love for Jason Mewes to be part of this and play this character. So he just asked me and I was like, yeah, it sounds awesome. And then when I read the scripts, I was like, this is awesome. So yeah, I play a character, Jimmy the janitor, in this show, if you haven't seen it. It's a bummer because they canceled it after 2 seasons because they said it cost too much money. It was a Canadian sci-fi, but it got nominated for 6 Geminis and won 1 for Best Comedy Ensemble. That's like the Canadian Emmys, but they're called Geminis. So it's really cool. I have a Gemini at home for Best Comedy Ensemble. But they did a Todd in the Book of Pure Evil animated movie. They're doing that right now. They did an Indigo or a Kickstarter. We've done the voices, the songs, and all that, and they're just finishing up the animation. And they're saying it should be ready by the end of October, November, the latest. And I'm hoping because the script was super funny. I got to read the whole script, but then, of course, I recorded all my dialogue and all that stuff. And it's cool because it starts off right where season 2 left off, because at the end of season 2, again, for people who haven't seen it, there's like sort of a cliffhanger, and it's like you're like, what happens? So it literally starts from that point and moves on from there, and it's really good. The script's really good, and I really think it's going to be an awesome movie. I'm just bummed because it was supposed to be out literally last October. They're like, we're like a month away, November the latest. And now it's been almost a year. But I guess the animation has taken longer than they thought, and the music and the sound effects takes time. But they're swearing it'll be out by the end of November.
Which is a common thing with a lot of the independent projects in general. I mean, even Kevin stuff, there are times that we've pushed back, and then eventually get it done. Thanks for the question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, people check it out. If you see a movie, animated movie called Todd in the Book of Pure Evil, watch it. It's very funny. Or even the show. Again, it was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is, but it's a fun show.
Hey, what's up, Comic-Con?
Hey, Comic-Con! What are you doing?
Supercon, wrong one. Yeah, no, thanks, guys, for coming through. Quick 2-part question. Which movie did you guys have more fun shooting, Clerks or Clerks 2? And 2-part question for Brian. What was it like getting to, work with Rosario Dawson and do those scenes you got to do and everything? I mean, that must have been, super dope.
I'll answer mine real quick because yours is like a 4-part question.
Sure.
Mine is definitely Clerks 2 because Clerks 1, I was super nervous. And again, I was like, oh, we're making a movie, cool. And then all of a sudden, there was film and there was a big camera and booms and mics and stuff. And I don't know, it was the first thing I ever done. I didn't plan on acting. I was roofing. And I was super nervous. I had
houses, not drugs.
Yeah, I was a roofer.
Wow.
And so I was super nervous, and I drank a lot, and I worked a normal job during the day, and then when I shot at night, and I didn't really know what was going on. So for me, definitely hands down Clerks 2 because we all stayed in this hotel that was connected to the location, and so it was like a camp. It was almost like a freaking campground.
It was a summer camp.
It was like summer camp. Everyone would leave their doors open at this Motel 8, and we'd just walk in each other's rooms and hang out and chit chat. And you'd go into Elias's room, and he'd be playing guitar and shit. And next room over here, they'd be drinking and talking, and Brian would be in the other room jerking it. Not really, but It was fun. Honestly, it was super, super fun, Clerks 2. I had a blast on it. So there's my answer to your question.
And to button his answer, so what he would do is he would leave his door open. He had the room that was the end of the outside hallway, but his door opened to the walkway. So when you walked down the walkway to get to the stairs, you saw into his room. So there was one day where he was like, we were on our lunch break, and he was like, Rosario, and we're just hanging out on the stairwell that overlooked the movies. And she's like, what? Come here, Bri, come here. I'm like, what? So we walk in, and Jay always would trick out. Anytime we shoot a movie, whatever hotel room is, he goes to local Target, Walmart, whatever, and tricks out his room. Gets a giant screen TV, gets a stereo, gets a gaming system. We're there maybe 2-3 weeks, and then he returns and we're like, oh, they didn't work. Right? But that's not the funny part. Here's the big funny part. So he's got a DVD player, he's got the big TV, he's watching a movie, and then there's just silence. Like, Rosario, come here. We walk in, and I'm behind her. He's like, what was it like shooting this part of the movie? Bam! It's Alexander, where she's just riding the shit out of him. Just completely naked.
Boobies bouncing and shit, and I was just like...
She fell for it 3 times.
She was a good sport, though.
She was a very good sport. So I would say yes, that was the reason. I mean, we all had the rest of us had regular day jobs when shooting the first Clerks. I worked at this barware manufacturer, and so I worked 9 to 5, then go to sleep from 5 till 9, get up, shower, shit, shave, and then drive, because I was living in New Brunswick, like an hour north of where they shot the movie. Drive down to the store, get into makeup, and then start shooting by 10:30, 11 o'clock, and shoot until 5:30, 6 a.m., depending on how long we went. And then help Kevin open up the store, and then I'd drive the hour back to New Brunswick, be all hopped up on fucking microwave burritos and Gatorades, and then go to work and do the whole thing. So that was more of a chore, but the experience of doing everything for the first time, going to Sundance, seeing all the reactions, like he said, and that whole thing was amazing. But actually fun, it was always Clerks 2, because I would look at the call sheet, and every day it was something kooky. It was like, day 1, we're doing a dance number on the roof with a whole big dance scene. You know, another day, I'm on fucking a swing making out with Kevin's real wife. Awkward. I want to find anybody who says on their job requirement that you sit on a swing while your boss's wife straddles you, you make out, and he films you, but you still get paid.
Yeah.
Awkward. And it was beautiful. She was awesome and stuff. And because in my head, I'm just like, please don't let the launch sequence start. Because then I'll be just like, no, that's a AA battery. That's not me. It's the mic. It's the mic pack. So, you know, and another day, it'd be like, now we're going to a go-kart track and being on go-karts all day. And then one day it's like fucking donkey show. Oh. You know, and then miss the donkey, right? And then the final is like, you know, making out with Rosario Dawson. So that, on the fun level, that's a high bar to cap right now. So, and working with her, like he said, she's an awesome individual. She's into comics. She's into sci-fi. When she first started reading the script again, the first time we read as a table read of the script, Kevin honestly asked her in front of us, like, so why did you choose doing this project? You know, you're an A-list actress. She's like, to be honest with you, I wanted to see how you guys were going to do this donkey show. And that's when we knew. It was like, fuck yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And that's how we knew that she was really cool, and that's how to answer your
Yo, thank you so much, guys. This
You're
is
welcome,
awesome.
brother.
Thank you.
It's on, son.
Oh, okay. Well, it's basically piggybacking off the last question. Out of all the Kevin Smith movies, which was both of your guys' favorite to film?
Out of all of Kevin's movies, which is the favorite film?
Mine was Mallrats. Mallrats was my favorite for sure. And that, again, is because that was the same answer that I gave for the last question. Clerks, to me, was our first movie, but it was more of like a chore.
Now we're on a real fucking movie.
And now all of a sudden we're like in Minnesota, and you're getting per diem, and there's wardrobe, and there's 10 of these people, and you know, all these extras, and all of a sudden there's Stan Lee and you know, Shannon Doherty. It was just really surreal, and everyone afterwards, like after Clerks, like he said, it would be like 5 in the morning. Everyone would just be like, thanks, great job today, guys. And you'd have to go home and get up and go to the normal job and do this and this. There, it's like everyone at the end of the day would go sit in the lobby of the hotel or the pool, and there would be like 20 people like hanging out from working all day. We'd be sitting at the bar, chit-chatting. People would be playing piano and shit, being like, I could play piano. And like, it was a lot of fun. I had a blast on Mallrats. And again, it was like, I was like 19, 20. I was 20. I hadn't got like strung out. I could drink, but I was like, I could handle it. I'd drink a few beers and be good. I wouldn't like black out and do drugs. So I was like, I could drink a couple beers, hang out and have fun. I was single, so I was like, hello, Kadaizen, Kadujin, hey, what Kadai? So, you know, I was throwing it around. I got a couple STDs there, but it was fun.
A lesson, young man. Lesson.
Yeah, don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it honestly, it was a whole unreal, like Jason Lee too and Ethan Sipley were so much fun and such nice guys, and it was fun. I had a real blast. Like, I never will forget it, honestly. And then we got to bring out our friends like Walt, again, from Comic Book Man. Walter and Brian came out and they got jobs on the movie, and there was another guy we hung out with, Ed Havstack, Brian, like all these people that we've been friends with and all that all came out, and we got to work with them and just have fun, and it was a lot of fun.
Can I ask a follow-up? I'm just curious. Do you still go cadoozing with Jordan? Just
No, now it's just like, please, come on, just move it. All right, just hurry up. And
Yowza! Thank you for asking, young man.
Hi.
Where's your parent, just out of curiosity? All right, cool. All right, just good. I don't want some of them making big announcements in the hall like, where is Johnny Storm? Johnny Storm?
There's been a lot of those, right?
There is.
Please find your son by the mail booth. Please come find your son.
And they say like room 410 or whatever the room is, which is where the microphone is. Why would you do that? I would like meet at the TARDIS in the lobby. That should be where the lost kids go. Meet at the TARDIS. Because everybody goes, holy shit, a TARDIS. You know what I mean? And if they still can't be found, just push them in the TARDIS. They'll find their own way home. I never got that. Go ahead.
Hi. Obviously, I'm not the first or last to have been exposed to you.
Of chicks that he went cadoozing.
No. At a young age, and you guys had an influence on me to be so laid back and perverted.
Cadoozing. How you doing?
But I have two questions, real quick.
No, I'm not your dad.
Damn it.
Go! Hear him? Go!
You never get laid by a woman. Son of a bitch.
No.
Go ahead.
For the Clerks, was there any ad-libbing allowed? Because I really thought the song, like, oh, I thought, like, you kind of just did that on the spot. So if Kevin wrote that, was there any, like, did you have to stick to the script?
Kevin was, especially in the very beginning, was extremely anal about his writing, and as he should be. It is perfectly melded, you know what I mean? And so whenever we were on set, it was always stick to it. And there would be times where he would even tell you the kind of, vocal way he wants you to say it, which, as actors, you're like, that's the worst thing you want to hear is a line reading from your director. But that's how he was. As throughout the years, he would loosen things up. Instead of like 100% stay on script, we'd be like 97, like 3% of us. Jay, he's cool with because he based the character on what he really was at the time. So he knows Jay will just flow with it, just do what he wants to. But Jay can answer the rest of that.
No, but even for, again, I keep saying, I don't mean to keep repeating, but Clerks, there was no ad-libbing for me because I was so nervous that it was literally me focused on just getting out what I wanted to get out. And like he said, Kevin loosened up as each script went on. So, but with me, it's like I'll throw something in, but what Kevin will do is afterward, he'd be like, don't say that again. He'd be like, but if you don't like, saying, go to the store, snooch, then maybe say, snooches, why don't you go to the store? So then he would let me ad-lib it, but really he'd be rewriting it behind the camera. Like he'd be like, I don't like what you just said. You could say something different, but say this instead. So that went on for a while. Towards the end, I might throw in this, and this, and he'd be like, all right, well, let's do another one with the line I wrote. And then maybe mine makes it in there. But yeah, is that what you asked? Sorry.
Yeah.
I was going off what you're
No, you're right.
No, it was more of a collaboration then. I was wondering if he was strict because it's just the scene where you like put that shit in my hand.
Yeah. No, that was him writing it,
Yeah.
maybe me throwing in an ad lib or two, and then either he liked it and he'd make me do it again and say, stick to what I wrote, or he'd be like, I like that, but why don't you say this instead? And it was a collaboration, really, but not Clerks. The first Clerks, not at all. Mallrats, not really either. Or Chasing Amy. I would say Dogma, Jay and Bob. Clerks 2. As things went on with those movies, he would let me throw a little this, little that in. So
over the years, I mean, he trusted playing these characters for 15 years. He kind of trusted our judgment and understanding of what we wanted and what we wanted to try.
Oh yeah, over time working together.
Exactly. Thank you for the question. We're going to go lightning round now because we're going to do. Oh, you have one more.
One more
Okay,
question,
go
real
ahead.
fast. In Dogma, the list of actors is like so big. There's like Chris Rock, Alan Rickman, Ben Affleck. How was it to work with them? And did anybody stand out to you?
I think every movie to me was, even though that one stands out to you with a lot of cast, it does. But again, for me, even Mallrats was surreal because it's like Shannon Doherty, and I was a 90210 watcher, and Stan Lee. Like I met Kevin and became friends with Kevin really because of the talk of comic books and all that. Driving to New York and spending an hour in the car with him, talking about like, oh, I can't wait to get there, and him making fun of me. Him, Walton Bry would make fun of me. But they really would. They'd be like. They had nicknames for each of the vendors. Because again, then it wasn't like here, you couldn't remember. Well, you remember some of the vendors, but I'm saying like there's a lot. There was like, it was like the size of this room, and this would be like the biggest show on earth. But anyway, so meeting Stan Lee was amazing, and Shannon Doherty. And then again, the next movie, doing the scene with Ben, and then Ben at that point doing Chasing Amy, he hadn't done a whole lot of stuff, but each movie has been awesome. Everyone I've worked with, it's been surreal meeting George Carlin and Chris Rock and Alan Rickman. Again, I'm a diehard fan, and then Michael Rooker and Mallrats, because I had watched Henry, he hadn't done Guardians yet, but he had done Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and I really liked that movie, and that's how I knew who Rooker was. And when he's like, we got Rooker and Mallrats. So each movie, each time, it's been surreal. Everyone's been amazing, and it really has. Luckily, there hasn't been anyone we've worked with that I've been like, oh my God, I hated them. Everyone's been super nice, super sweet, and it's so much fun. I couldn't stop laughing at getting through, what's his name, Sean William Scott, and the thing when it was like, I'm a lovely river, when he's thinking with the breakers and stuff. Oh my God, I cracked up in that van, and we had
Watch your house, little boy. There's ladies present.
Exactly, yeah, it's like, wait, little kid, watch your mouth. Oh my God, it's so funny. Like, I kept cracking up. Kevin started getting mad because I kept laughing. He's like, dude, stop. I'm like, I can't help it. So
It's great because we quote the movies as well because we have such great people working with. I mean, for me, meeting George Carlin was amazing. We were both in the makeup trailer. I was getting done as Grant Hicks, the news reporter, and he was getting into his Cardinal Glick stuff in the makeup trailer. And I grew up in the exact same neighborhood in the Bronx till the age of 10 that he grew up in. So we connected that way. I had bought his latest book, Brain Droppings, at the time, and I asked him to sign it. He's like, from one Bronx kid to another. And we took a photo. Back then, before digital cameras, they had the Polaroids, but it was the Polaroids little strips, right? So we took a Polaroid. It was me as, the Grant Hicks and him as Cardinal Glick, and he signed that and stuff. And that's something I'll always treasure. I was messing up horribly on the set of Dogma. It was the first 3 days, and I couldn't get this whole sentence out, a whole paragraph out, and I kept goofing. And I remember Alan Rickman had arrived on set, but he didn't shoot for a couple of days. And they took a cut, and we took 5 minutes for a second as I was like trying to go over in my head what I was doing. He came up to me and was like, "Don't worry, mate. It happens to the best of us." He's short, by the way. He's shorter than I totally believe. And I was like, holy shit, Hans Gruber just said it happens to the best of us. He thinks we're the best of us. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. But yeah, so it's those type of moments that I'll always treasure, meeting Selma Hayek, where film and pictures don't do her justice. She is so stunningly beautiful in person. It was amazing. And those are the things that we'll remember forever.
Wow. Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you. Wait, so you said lightning round. Is there only a few minutes left? What's?
Are we doing 3:15 or 3 o'clock? What are we doing? 3:15. Oh, all right. 3:15. Oh, then we're good.
I think
Yeah.
you might have answered it, but
But if you want to go through them fast, that works too.
okay, mine's quick. How long did you know Ben Affleck for? Did you know him prior? Did anybody?
I did not know him, and I did not know him
No,
for any movies
for
actually before
Mallrats.
Mallrats.
Mallrats, one of the casting directors, Jim Jacks, and I forget the other guy's name, who casted Dazed and Confused, was the same casting director from Mallrats. So he had known Ben from Dazed and Confused and thought he'd be perfect for the fashionably male part, because he was a dick in that first movie, so he could be a dick in the ass in this movie. So that's how we got to meet him and stuff, and a lot of that was through that. And it was great because he was a lot of fun. He was like more relaxed Ben kind of thing, and kind of a
Yeah, I
prank-
didn't really hang out with him much on Mallrats, I feel, as much.
No.
Kevin did more so. It wasn't, and then Chasing Amy, it was really Dogma. I started to hang with him a little more, get to know him, and then Jay and Bob, by then we hung a bunch. And so, but yeah, so I didn't know him beforehand.
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
She's like, do you have his number? I heard he's single. What's going on?
Hello.
What is the best album of all time?
Ooh.
Wait, what is the best?
Best album.
The best album? Adamant Strip. King Diamond. Sleepless Nights.
I don't know. I just saw the 30-year anniversary of the Joshua Tree tour, so that for me was that's an album I can listen to again and again and again. But that's like Irish, rock. But then my music taste is out the door because I'll tell you, it's fucking Public Enemy, Bring the Noise, things like that. So there's a lot of albums that depends on what genre we're talking about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't know stormtroopers wore glasses though. That's weird. I thought that visor thing took over. Yes.
All right, this is going to be a soft pitch. This question is for you, Mr. Mewes.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's actually from my wife. That's why I said soft pitch. Go ahead.
You're not issuing a warrant.
Is your wife texting or is she here?
No, she's not. She's overseas.
Oh, she's overseas. She
But
texted.
when
She's like, "You better ask him this, you piece of shit."
Well, she brought it up.
Where's my child support, bitch?
Okay, when she asked me what I was like in high school when we were dating, Clerks 2 had just come out. I watched it with her. But we were living and working in Korea. So a few years later, when The Last Godfather comes out,
No way.
I didn't realize she made the connection. And when I said you guys were here, she's like, why did he do that movie? And my question added to that would be, any cool stories with Harvey Keitel?
I got to play a mobster and work with Harvey Keitel.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly, I thought it was I had a blast doing that. I got to wear suits and shoot Tommy guns. Last Godfather. Oh, I didn't know if you know. Yeah, Last Godfather is like a little indie. I guess it was. I want to say
No,
it
it
was
was
an indie movie.
tax funded by Korean taxes.
I didn't know anything about that part. It was shot here. I know that the producer wanted me to be in it, and they're like, Harvey Keitel's in it. You play Vinny. The character was cool. I got to shoot a Tommy gun, and then I didn't know anything about. But the one guy, I guess the funny guy, all I knew about him was that he was sort of famous over in Korea.
Old school TV legend there.
Yes, and that's all I knew. But again, that didn't even matter so much to me as much as like, wow, I get to do a movie at Harvey Keitel, and I get to, and a lot of the other guys too in it. There's one dude who's he's a big. There was horrible the names. They're both of them I think passed away, which is such a bummer. But there were comedians. And you would know the one guy, his voice, Joe Pamela. I don't know. Yeah, maybe look it up for me if you don't mind. But there's two guys in it. There was a lot of good cast in there, put it that way. And so when I found out I got to work with all these guys and me getting to play something different than the slapsticky funny, like I got to play, again, it was a comedy, but I got to play a mobster, and his name was Vinny. And I got to shoot Tommy guns, which is a blast. I got to drive a 1957 Lincoln or something like that. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Do you see the other names in there?
Yeah, there's
Joe
Michael
Palmer.
Spoli, Blake Clark, John.
It's a bummer.
Nett,
What is it?
And John Polito.
John Polito and John Paulette or whatever. But the bummer is the one dude passed away. You would know him if you seen him. The one dude's like always playing the bad guy in like all the like Dennis the Menace and all these weird movies. If you look him up. Anyway, I had a blast. That's why I did it. Tell her I did it because I got to play a mobster, Vinny, and I got to work with a lot of really cool people in the movie, not including the guy. I don't know that guy, the Korean guy, but everyone else was awesome.
But any funny stories with the cast as well?
Funny stories for me is I remember that we were debating one scene where like the one dude draws the gun and then Harvey's supposed to draw the gun, and the director, who is the Mr. whatever, the Korean guy who
Young-gu was the character.
Mr. Gu or whatever. So he was like, we should do it this way and this way. And then Harvey was like, no, we should do it this way. And I was like, yeah, I guess we can do it this way. And then I draw my gun and then you draw your gun and then he falls. So we were going over the blocking of it all. And I remember disagreeing, and I sort of was like, well, I could do it either way. And I remember leaving. We all went to our trailers. He was in his trailer, and all of a sudden, Harvey's like assistant came out. I was like, Harvey wants to talk to you in the trailer. And I just remember going, holy fuck, he's gonna be so pissed that I disagreed with, like I didn't agree with him and get his back about this thing. And like my first like full-on conversation with him separately from the blocking or the acting and such, he's gonna be pissed.
He's gonna tie you to a chair, and it's gonna be like fucking Reservoir Dogs.
Definitely.
All of a sudden. He's like,
I was thinking
torture. That's a good idea. I like that.
And I remember going inside the trailer and shit and being like, look, I'm really about to apologize. And he's like, hey, do you want to just go through this scene with me? And I was like, all right, cool. He's like, yeah, let's just read some of the scenes and let's go over that thing and see which way works better. And I was like, all right, let's do this. So I don't know, that really stood out to me, will stand out to me, because that was a big deal. Because again, watching movies, all these different movies, Harvey Keitel in it, and now I'm in this trailer, and he's like, let's read dialogue together and go over this scene. It was really sweet and cool, so.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
How's it going?
So,
What's up?
question for Jay. Basically, I wanted to know, honestly, what was your favorite scene in Dogma?
My favorite scene in Dogma. My favorite scene. I know, I did. It's such a simple, silly scene, but I don't know. I had a lot of good. I really enjoyed shooting the Uzi at Ben and being like, "Count the shells, suck a duck," because for me, getting to shoot an Uzi was awesome. And getting just to see the special effects of the wings blowing apart and stuff. But also, of course, getting to see Alanis Morissette come out as God. And I'm like, what the fuck who the fuck is he the fucking hip hooligan? And then that stuff. So getting to work with Alana, she's super sweet and awesome. I couldn't help myself but try to flirt with her and see if she'd make out with me and stuff. She wouldn't. But, there's...
you ought to know.
The behind the dumpster scene.
So there was a lot of fun, good scenes like that for me. Again, so I would say one of those, either shooting the Uzi with and shooting the wings in that scene, or the scene with Alanis. But again, I don't know, it was fun. That scene with Alan Rickman at the table. Movies with Chris Rock. I remember, so this happened, and I'll tell this scene. Wouldn't be one of my favorites because I got yelled at. Kevin was super upset with me. And luckily, Chris Rock was a good sport because I wasn't very professional. So when you're shooting, right, like shooting a scene, of course, if you don't know, and you probably know, but, camera's on Brian, he's delivering his dialogue to me, and I'm off screen delivering. You stick around, and even though I'm not on camera, the good thing is to stick around and read the dialogue so Brian has someone to bounce the words with. So it's on Chris, it's on me and Kevin. How many, tell me something you don't know. You always jerk off, you think of Silent Bob or whatever the hell the word is at movies. And so now the camera turns around and it's on Chris. And because, he's reading it, blah, 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 me and Kevin are reading it, I'm saying my words to Chris. And then there's like a little, we need to set up a new light and another light here and stuff. So a little time goes by and stuff with no interaction, nothing going on. And I was fully strung out from the middle of Dogma to the end. I met this girl and I found a dope dealer and crack and heroin and all this bad stuff. And I started using again, but no one knew, or maybe they did know and didn't say anything. But as we're sitting there, it's like we start the scene again, but I already been sitting there and I'm like, and all of a sudden Kevin hits me because Chris Rock was laughing because he was reading the dialogue and waiting for me to say my dialogue back to him. And he looked over and I was like this. And like my head was on the table and shit, and he started laughing, and Kevin got really upset. So again, it's not my favorite moment, but again, it's something I won't forget because actually Chris was a good sport. He could have been really pissed because it wasn't very professional, but it's something that will, I won't forget. I was I was a mess there, and afterwards, now things are better. I've over 7 years sober, so thank you. I wasn't saying it for that. Thank you. I wasn't saying it to get claps, but thank you.
Someone's going to get arrested after this movie.
But he was awesome. Chris was so much fun. Again, everyone's been so much fun. I really feel lucky and blessed that all the people we've worked with. I got this bong saber fight with Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher. I got to sit in the car and pretend to go down on her and be obnoxious with her so much. She got pissed at me too and slapped me in the head because I was like, ooh, I could smell it. And she didn't think that was funny. I was still obnoxious then.
Just curious.
I'm obnoxious now, but I feel people out now. And anyway. But,
was there glitter on your mouth when you came up? Just curious. That's a thing with her. She always put glitter on.
Glitter? No.
Yeah, she used to put glitter on people.
But she didn't find that
Another
funny.
one for Jason. What's a better song, Jungle Love or Goodbye Horses?
What's my favorite song?
No, what's a better song?
What's better?
What's a better song? Oh.
Love or Goodbye?
Again, they're two different things. I feel like I could lay in bed. It depends on what you're doing. If you're laying, you're trying to relax, I'd be like, you told me. But Jungle Love, you can't like sit and relax. You want to get up and be like, So I don't know. Again, I'm all into different music and stuff. I wouldn't say there's a better song. Again, because they're both.
It all depends on what you're doing.
Yeah,
it really does.
They're all yeah, because Goodbye Horses makes me want to tuck my wiener. Jungle Love makes me want to dance with my wiener tucked. What's up, son?
Hello. So you just mentioned the fight with Mark Hamill, the bong saber fight.
Yes.
How was filming that? Was it fun? And did you guys goof off? Like those props were absolutely ridiculous. Did you guys play fight with them as well in between takes, or?
Well, no. We actually used like sticks to do the bong saber, and then this stunt. I tried to do as much as I could, but if you see, I was 190 pounds. I think I was 198 pounds. The most I had ever weighed. I drank a lot, so it was super heavy. And I remember being like, I could totally do this stunt. I really, really wanted to be able to do the thing where it turns around and it's like, call me Darth Balls, bong. And I do the flip over the railing. I so badly wanted to do that. And I'm like, I could do it. And we went and practiced. And I could not do it. You're on cables and you have this belt and it's just really flipping around and landing on your feet. But every time I went to flip around, I would like land like this, or I wouldn't make it all the way around and stuff because I was so out of shape and so now I came there 2 times out of the 3 times we practiced. I was hungover. Point is, some of the thing was stunts, but most time it was me doing the basic like stick fighting, which was awesome, and then we'd use the bong to it was my idea to go pretend to shut it off and go blow it out and then put it back on. That was my idea. Just saying. But it was a blast. Again, just learning to get to use the swords. The sticks. A little bit and pretend the bong saber again with that, and then him hitting me, and I'm like, avenge me, help night. The whole thing was awesome. Even the set was awesome. Looking at the blunt cave and standing in it, even though it was fake, it was just awesome. So it was an amazing.
Thank you, sir. This is the final question, and we're gonna.
Final question for Brian.
In general, this is it.
No, for Brian only. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, good, because the question's for Jason.
There you go.
You don't have to go home, but you gotta get the fuck up out of here. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, what's the question, sir?
You and Kevin Smith had a cameo in Scream 3.
Yes, we did.
Bob, how did that happen?
Honest truth, that is the answer. Thank you for having us.
Miramax, again, that was a Miramax Dimension film, and I believe it was the idea of Bob Weinstein, who runs it, and Kevin and Harvey and them Bob and Harvey are the ones who've made most of the movies, and they had a relationship with Kevin. They were just like, hey, we want to throw Jay and Bob in this scene, and we were like, hell yeah, let's do it. And that was it. They invited us to come to a scene. We were more than happy to take it. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. I got two. We have a couple more hours.
We'll be back to our tables. Come on down.
We have a couple more hours before the show ends. Come see us at our tables. Dutch runners, selfies, and such. Snooch.
That's Jay Mewes.